Okay, folks, today I'm with the Alexanders, and we just brought their, basically their 50-foot trawler, 40-year-old trawler from Gulf Shores, Alabama. It started, you guys saw it with James and me and Steve. We brought it down from Gulf Shores to Demopolis.
Demopolis, yep.
Yeah.
Up.
Yeah, up. Sorry. Anyway, so we brought it up from Demopolis, and then we dropped it off, and then we met back there. Was it Sunday?
Yeah.
Saturday.
One of those days.
Yeah. Anyway, and today we're with his beautiful wife, Becky here, which Becky was did you used to do the pageant circuit?
Moons ago.
Yeah, you did that.
Many moons ago, yes.
And I didn't realize it, but Steve also drove NASCAR for a little while.
Yeah, in the lower echelons. Never made it up to the big
stuff,
the big stage, but yeah, you know.
So that was pretty cool. I've heard a lot of stories about you guys over the last few days, or even the last months, because me and you've been doing a lot of boating together.
Right.
Anyway, and one of the big surprises was for me, and before we get started on the video here, was how I tell everybody I could go without the flybird, and it was funny because we ended up down here. It rained on us is what happened.
Yeah.
And then Steve says, and we ended up, he goes, go shut it up upstairs, and then we ended up down here. We never went back upstairs.
Right, I think it was going into Demopolis, the trip with James with us, and it started raining, and so we were upstairs and we were trying to use spotlight because it was getting dark, and you know, with the windscreens down, it just, you couldn't see well.
Yeah, right.
So we had to move down, and then I think another day it rained, so we drove from downstairs, and it's just so much easier to lock.
Especially when you got a boat like this, and we went through a lot of locks over the last few years. So that's what we'll get into, because this is Becky's first time on the boat, period. And then we threw her right into it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she'd only been on the boat, I think, when we came down and looked at the boat. Just did the viewing of the boat. She wasn't here for the sea trial.
Because you've come down
or any of that. Right.
To do work on it and stuff like that, get it ready. And then Becky jumps on the boat, and our first day, 18 hours.
118 miles, a few locks, sunrise, departure, and way past sunset arrival.
Yeah, it was 10 o'clock when we got in. It was dark. And it was pulling into probably one of the trickiest marinas we pulled into.
Yeah, it was, they all seemed tricky, but yeah, that was especially tricky.
I didn't know what to expect. I just rode with the flow.
But it was your first time?
Yes, it was.
And you've never been on a big boat like this, though, either.
I have not.
Yeah, you told us a couple stories about your younger years when you were on a little boat and you got thrown off it, or hit with the motor or something.
Yeah, they hit a log and it flipped the motor out of the...
Broke the transom and the motor hit you.
Hit me on the back and knocked me forward.
Yeah, and so you were skeptical about this whole thing because you thought you were going to get seasick and stuff like that, but the river systems were actually very smooth.
I did come prepared, though. I would have 2 wristbands.
Dramamine.
But I haven't had to take any. I was excited.
Yeah, and you didn't get seasick at all, did you? I
have not had any motion sickness whatsoever.
Yeah, because I think it's just because it's a bigger boat. It's a different experience.
Yeah. The only sickness she has is of me.
Yeah, both of us. But anyway, so this is your first time. And how did you do it? Like 18-hour day, that's a lot for anybody. Just, I'm telling you right now. And it took us a couple days to get into our groove, but that first day, man, that's a big boy day, 18 hours.
It was a big day, but I didn't know any different. I didn't know any better. So when I got on here, I was prepared to do whatever it took to get the job done and to try to learn as much as I could.
Right.
And Paul was very patient with me, so I've had a great time.
Yeah, because the whole purpose of this trip was I'm riding with you and then kind of shadowing you, and you're shadowing me so that you know how to handle the lines and what Steve needs and when he needs it and stuff like that. Because as you guys move forward now, because now you're going to try, now you got about 2 days, 3 days? 2
or 3. 2 to 3, depending on how we
you want
split
to
it
do
up,
it. Right. You can't easily done in 2 days.
Yeah, it'd be 180 miles, so it'd be 2 90-mile days with a couple of locks. So you'd probably split that into 3. Right?
Yeah, it would be a little easier on you, for sure. It's more the looping style.
Right.
But one of the big concerns with us is we don't have a perfectly working anchor. The switch didn't work out, and some of the repairs you did, and we're going to get into that in our next video. I mean, you're going to talk a little bit about what it actually costs to move this boat after you purchase the boat.
Right.
Now you've got to move it 800 miles.
Right. The old talking point you have, right, is the 40-year-old gal. Yeah.
So, and then, Becky, so your 18-hour day, what was your first day out there, though? I mean, you were, I got to tell you, too, just a trooper on the entire trip. And every day, it's like when we were talking to Steve, every day you got your improvement was 100% every day. Just because you didn't know anything what to expect that first day. Well, and that second day, we bring you in. You've gone through some of the biggest locks in the hemisphere. I mean, there's nothing bigger. I mean,
Wilson Lock was in Florence, Alabama today.
That one's a huge one. But so you've been through some of the biggest locks that the loop can throw at you, and you did awesome.
Well, I just came in with the right attitude, and I asked you to tell me what to do, and I followed you. As far as the locks go, the first one, when I tossed the rope over, or line, that's where I go wrong. See, I call it the wrong thing. But anyway, I'm learning. The line, when I tossed it over, I missed an ear, and I got upset, but it held us. And then we went to the next two locks, and I was proud of myself and got a little overconfident real quick.
Yeah, and it's all about about Steve bringing the boat in. So it's both of you guys working together as a team. You getting that rope over there and then doing your job, and then Steve, especially when you're by yourselves, because this one's just me and Bev. I don't know if you guys you do. Steve does, because he's a huge follows the channel. But when I jumped on my 50-foot trawler, you guys saw Pete with me for about 2 months. And that was for me to get acclimated to that new boat, and it was a completely different change. So you guys are just jumping into a 50-foot boat.
Well, I don't know anything about it, but like I say, with the lock, I got a little overconfident because the next two I did very well.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
But it is teamwork, right?
It is absolutely
about that earlier.
100%.
So that after she got that confidence up, and then I made a mistake, and I was a little bit too far off, and I didn't kind of get close enough to make it easy for her. And she didn't realize she could wait for me to correct, and so she was trying, and so
It was also
it was a little
up.
higher.
Yeah, right. They
Higher up.
changed
The
pins.
ballers,
So I was prepared to go down and not have to
And
reach
surprised
up.
there it was.
And it shocked me, but I managed.
And it also tells you like your deck position, because now you know just go forward. Now you can step on the deck. You see one higher. So it's a huge learning curve. It really is.
Yeah.
But and some people will say this is the hardest part about the loop, especially this. I mean, when you guys leave here to start the loop in 2024.
Yeah, that's our target.
Yeah, you're going to do the toughest part of the loop, because you're going to go through all these big locks. Then you got your crossing to do. You're going to knock out the toughest part of the loop, and you've knocked out some. And some people do not like these rivers. I did. I personally did, because the rivers to me it took weather out of the factor, and you kind of saw that on this trip.
Right.
And we don't care if the little thunder boomer or wind.
And it takes those tides. I had some boating experience in South Carolina.
Yeah, right.
And so, normally on a tide, 6-foot tide swings in some of those estuaries, and it can get rolling.
Yeah, right.
And so that's a little different experience, too. So, I mean, I think everything has its own uniqueness on this loop.
Yeah,
and it'll throw you its challenges in different ways.
Right? And I break it down to the Great Lakes, the river system, and then the actual ocean and all the canals, and then you have all your crossings, which you got about 4 major crossings, and Mobile Bay is one of those. I mean, because Mobile Bay is a tough bay. Yeah. But now you've never slept on the boat. This is your first time sleeping on the boat, cooking on the boat. Your first day, none of us did much of it. I mean, it was just...
We didn't eat the first day because I didn't know what to do.
Yeah, it was an 18-hour day.
Yeah, it was an 18-hour...
Nobody wanted to do anything after that day.
I think we were all... we ordered pizza, right? At 10 o'clock at night, some guy delivered us pizza.
Yeah, I think that's right.
During the day, I was not prepared for what it took to...
Yeah, now you got to kind of know. Do
I
you know what I'm saying?
When, where,
right?
What was a good time, depending on where we were and what was coming up next, because I just didn't have.
Well, and you got accustomed as we went,
because you steered the boat a lot too.
I did.
She drove a lot. So,
in fact, I was shocked. Steve didn't think that I would do it at all, because I didn't let him feel that way, because I kept saying I'm afraid. And when I got in there, it was not near as difficult as I thought, and then I enjoyed it for a good bit.
Now, did you where was your favorite, upstairs or downstairs, or both?
I liked it better upstairs.
Okay, because you just have more visibility.
Yeah.
And what about you upstairs? Are you
I think for bringing the boat into docks or locks, I like downstairs because you're right there, and then you can literally jump.
I think as a team, you guys are going to have to.
With the side doors, the Europa style, right? All those pluses where you just have that access and you've got that visibility. I find it a little harder on the flybridge because the Europa design, I have these wings out here on the side, and I can't see down the side of the boat from the helm.
You literally have to leave the helm
and
walk around
over
there.
And so I'm listening a lot more for voice calls.
Right.
And
well, my voice calls aren't the best because my 3 feet it's not the same as his 3 feet.
Yeah,
so,
right. Yeah. And that's
so I've got to figure that out.
And you'll get better at that. Yeah. You really will. And then you guys, you're going to buy the marriage savers?
Yeah, I think that's going to be a requirement.
Yeah.
after these few days, we've learned that, well, she's got a soft voice.
Right.
And so, like, I could hear her better up on the flybridge when I got down here, even though she was on the deck.
Well, because we got the engines,
you got the
wind,
you got everything else going on,
right.
and she's speaking in normal voice. And you know, I tend to project the voice loud, and you know, that's misinterpreted as shouting, and then
with the headsets though,
comes.
then it's at least you can hear her say,
no matter where we are.
It's 50 feet, it's 20 feet, it's 100 feet, because it's really important to call out those distances so that you know what you're doing. So day 2 comes along. I think we did order the pizza the night. Mm-hmm. Then you get up the next day. I mean, now we're eating bacon sandwiches.
Life was great.
Grilled cheese with bacon and pickles.
Yeah, when we planned the trip, you know, we talked a little bit about maybe we ought to front load the mileage a little heavier because we're going to get tired. I kind of learned this as we went those 3 days with you and James, and we did 3 100+ mile days every day. Yeah. And by that third one, you know, when we came rolling into Demopolis in the lock at night, and then a thunderstorm to slip the boat, and you know, it had been a 14 or 15 hour day. You know, your nerves are a little unwound, and so with her on board, I didn't want to do that and backload that heaviness. So we kind of did that big day up front. And knew that we would get a little bit less encumbered as we went. Right. And plus, that big day, we figured if she quits, right, we either broke the horse or you didn't break the horse, right? So.
I thought she did great. And one of the reasons we had to do these big days, too, is because our anchor system isn't working it's correctly.
Like it should.
And we didn't want to fight it. So we wanted to make to that marina. That was our... we could have thrown the anchor out if we wanted to, but we really... And we were so close by it was just the locks that held us up, really. It wasn't really... If we had a couple bad calls not bad calls. When you're looping out here, the locks are the locks. If you get held up an hour or 2 hours, there's nothing you can do for it. Right. Commercial track has the right of way.
Yeah, they have the priority.
You get stuck behind a tow, and there's
and that's what happened. We had 3 locks. We sailed right through. 45 minutes each on average, and then. You know, we didn't have enough time to get by a tow to get enough buffer, and so the lock just basically said hang back, and so he literally had to go in. He was so long he had to detach his pilot house from the barge. Go in beside him. I think it was a 2-hour wait on that one.
That's part of that 18-hour day. We lost a lot of hours for that. Yeah. So anyway, we get past that day. Now the next day, you're cooking sandwiches for it. It's a whole different mood change on the boat. And then each day it got better and better, and you felt more confident.
I did, and I felt like it was okay to ask questions and not interrupt anybody, because I really felt like I was in the way to begin with, and I was holding y'all back.
No.
But once I got settled in and oriented, you know, it was great, and I enjoyed cooking
And you're getting more and more comfortable with the boat. Like I said, you did quite a bit of driving here. You know, I've shared these pictures with you guys now. I was watching her drive the boat. But she's never done anything like this in her life. And it's important that she knows how to put the boat in gear, out of gear, knows how to work the throttle. So Steve worked with her quite a bit. Steve lost our looper flag.
One of those locks where we were waiting, and
he's practiced doing his turnaround in wind and weather and current, and he's practicing turning the boat both directions.
There it goes somewhere.
I didn't see it.
None of us saw it depart the boat.
I saw it. Didn't you come in yelling, "Our flag's gone! Our flag's gone!" And then the lockmaster, he calls us. It was just one of those we got hung up at, and the
Yeah.
lockmaster calls us and said, "Come on in." And
It's
I'm
time
like,
to go.
We didn't even have time to look for the flag.
Can't even go look for the flag, so got to order another one.
Well, maybe Kim will give you a discount on the next one. That was funny. Anyway, but we had a wonderful trip. I think each day got a little bit easier, and they got shorter. So because these last couple of days are really what it's going to be like on the loop, where it's a 5, 6, 7 hour day on the water, and then that more docktails and stuff like that. And you got to kind of experience it, not the docktails. Oh,
yeah, not so much of that.
We did drink a little bit of devil's juice.
I will say that Steve told me that I did 1,000 times better than what he had anticipated.
I thought you did too. I think he was nervous about it.
Yeah, because I wasn't all aboard, to be honest with you. I had my reservations and all. But then he made the mistake of calling me a goat tire.
When she threw that rope over that bollard, and I was like, "Hey, man, you just put that right on there like a goat roper."
And what's a goat roper?
Well, I told him that I was the goat, the greatest of all time. So you better be thankful that I was the one over with him.
So every time that's what we hear. But yeah, and then what is your? I mean, you're ready for the loop, though, right? You want to do the loop now
I
with
do
Steve?
want to do the
Cannonball. Motorcycle cannonball, yeah.
And she wasn't 100% on board with that one. And then she enjoyed it, though, after she did it.
She did.
Yeah.
I even made a toast that said, I don't drink, but I've got cranberry juice and orange juice, so you can classify it as a mixed drink. And I made me a toast and said, while it's not a proper toast, I just have a confession. I was not supportive. I have to apologize. I've had a ball.
Yeah, right. And but the loop now, I've seen you're more open minded because of that experience. Because Steve, I don't want to say forced you, but he said, "Come on, honey, do this with me. Do this for me."
Oh, he's full of surprises.
Yeah, and so now you're saying you're supporting him on this loop thing. She gets the interior of the boat,
now we're supporting each other.
Anyway, it'll be fun putting the boat together. It'll be a piece of you guys and a part of you guys. And then once you get out there on the loop, you really don't want any surprises out there.
Right.
So you want to make sure that generator's working.
Yep.
I think your engines are just like, those are Singer sewing machines.
They're performing as expected.
Yeah, I wouldn't even think your gears, which is your major things under there. Generator, we got a little bit of work to do on.
Windlass, just a few things. Some electronic stuff we want to do.
New AC in the front bedroom. There's a few things too, and then some painting and some cleaning up. Right. But the boat, I think, is going to perform well. And it's just like me and Bev did with Loop Princess. You guys need to work together as a team, get it done, get it to where your guys' expectations are, and then get out there and start looping and have that date, because we can all sit here and say, we can talk. Anybody can talk, but you just need to have that date. And you may miss the first one, but you guys know it's a window there. Right. You got about a 3-month window there, and you've got to leave. You got to say
that was the whole plan of bringing the boat closer to our home, up to Chattanooga. We can 90 minutes, right? We're there. We can take it out. And for us, with our current lifestyle, we can tend to go out more during the week.
Yeah, right.
Weekends are busy for us, but the weekdays are not. So there's not as much traffic, and where our marina is about 30 minutes away is a lock.
Right.
And so if we want to go from the marina to Chattanooga, we lock through.
Oh, right.
And so we can get some of that practice and keep doing that.
Nice.
So there's some benefits.
Because I would encourage you not to just work on the boat. You have to take
it out. Yeah.
You have to, because you're not going to get. You need still more skills, and you need more skills.
Yep.
Most definitely.
Yeah, right. And as you guys, and you'll be surprised at the loop about. The loop is, like I told Bev at the very beginning of the loop, it's about as hard a job as you can get, and it can be frustrating.
Yeah.
Then the next part is you're starting to enjoy yourself, and by the last third of the loop, now you're experts, and now it's a vacation. You really start to enjoy yourself. And
we even started the last couple of days. I've got some GoPro stuff. I put some on. We did some videos.
Steve actually does have a YouTube channel too, and we are going to get that thing up and going. Yeah. And Steve does a lot of technical support for this channel already, because when we need, that's what he did. He was in IT support his whole life. And he doesn't have time for it, but he does enjoy doing it and helping us with the projects.
I do.
You guys will see him. We've just bought a the T-box.
Yeah, the
for
sonar.
sonar.
Wi-Fi sonar.
So we're gonna try and get it all. I don't know. That's one's gonna be a little bit iffy, but he'll do the best he can do. And then once we get this package together, then we'll just do a little video talking about the components and the pieces that we've done. And the whole purpose of it is if you want AIS, which worked great on the entire trip, by the way.
It was awesome.
And I didn't think he was going to be able to. He's never doubt me, because I thought it was impossible. Because James is a pretty smart dude, and when he couldn't figure it out, then you call me the night. Never doubt me, and you got it working. And then on this one, you do a lot of research but you did that. You write the codes. You did all that stuff. So it's all IT.
And it's not that I did it. It's you have to just go find where somebody else has had that breakthrough, or there's two pieces to the puzzle and you have to
clip them together, right?
Clip them together to make that third piece actually work.
So we're hoping, and when he does, then we'll get a written explanation. We'll do a small short video on it and we'll get it done. But just like Keith was back in St. George, Steve brings that same character, and he'll be in the videos. He may even join us on a couple of the deliveries at some point. Anytime, especially if we get over there somewhere close for him to jump on the boat for a few days.
Yep.
So he'll be in the YouTube, supporting the YouTube channel, and then we're going to support his YouTube channel as he gets this boat ready for the loop. Yeah. And then Becky, it was awesome being with you these last 4 days. I enjoyed it. I thought you did a fantastic job, and I'm glad that you're supporting Steve for the America's Great Loop and getting the boat ready and everything like that.
I'm looking forward to it, but I want to thank you and Bev. Because when I first met y'all, I was not on board. And y'all made me feel comfortable. You made me feel welcomed. And you assured me that it was a fun time and a good time and not something to be afraid of.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's rewarding.
And you've been encouraging.
Yeah, it really is. And you guys, like a lot of people start the loop. It takes a different breed to finish the loop, but I think you guys are finishers. I think you will. You're doing this whole thing to do the loop and finish the loop. Some people buy boats for different reasons, and they hear about the loop, and then they make an attempt at it, and it doesn't. But I think you guys will complete the loop. I think you've got a good platform to do the loop on. It'll be exciting, and hopefully me and Steve will do a couple videos of us working on the boat together.
Sure.
Especially when this winter, when it gets a little bit slower, and when you pull it out of the water, we'll come up there and hang out for a couple days and do some work on the boat, and really, we'll talk more about the loop and stuff like that, and what we're doing to get the boat ready.
We've kind of had a flurry of working together through the buying process, and the getting ready to move it process, and then the actual delivery process, and then the instructional process. Right. These are all parts of your role.
Yeah, right.
And so, my hope is it doesn't end there. That at some point you've talked about that we're going to get to do some more things together.
Yeah, we will definitely. There's no question. And I don't know how to explain this on video because I'm not really good at this type of stuff. But his learning curve just from being around me was it brought you 100 times faster than you would have tried to do this by yourself. Oh
yeah, I think for anybody out there, don't be afraid to get somebody with more knowledge, more experience, and it may cost you some money, and we'll probably hit on this a little bit about the cost of doing this.
Yeah, right.
But the payback. It's
almost
incrementally greater
than
it is just trying. The frustration will mount, and I think that's where some people may get and lose interest just because of the frustration. So you kind of have to eat a little bit of humble pie and realize that maybe in some cases you can't do everything right out of the chute. And I think people go grab some people that can help you.
Yeah,
and that's what you've been for us. So we appreciate it.
Anyway, I'm going to end this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Just like with Glenn and Laura, they're in the Dismal Swamp. They called me yesterday on this trip and saying, "Hey, we're in the Dismal Swamp. What to expect?" So we got to talk to them for a few minutes. It was awesome. I don't know if I'm going to catch them now with Jim because I think they're too far.
They're moving along.
They are moving.
I watched them a little bit after their episode where they had to do the return
anything
back.
too. You guys can follow anybody on Nebo, incling but we don't know that we don't have a boat name yet.
It's Summer Breeze.
Oh, Summer Breeze.
SMR Breeze on Nebo. I had been logging
and you can message Steve through that, so anybody can join Nebo. You don't even have to buy the receiver. It's an app on your phone, and we can follow all these loopers, and we're going to follow you guys and support you through the entire loop. And then even on the loop at some point, even like Glenn and Laura, I may catch them in Denopolis and ride those last 3 days. Same thing with you guys. I may catch up with you guys a few times on the loop and just hang out with you for a few days and then see where you guys are at, and we'll do videos and talk about it and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
Anyway, peace out. Remember, live life with no regret. I do. I think Becky does.
Yes, sir.
And I
She
think
has
Steve
no
does.
choice.
I guess Steve does. Anyway, live life with no regret. We do. And peace out. And thank you guys so much for watching. We do appreciate it. Thanks. And make sure you hit that like and subscribe button.